Arsalan Iftikhar is a human rights lawyer and senior fellow at Georgetown University. Joins me now live from Washington, D.C. Good to have you with us on the programme again. I mean, how do we rate this attack in terms of sort of Germany's historical reputation for having an underbelly of far-right support amongst the public?
Well, Sohail, since the year 2000, this would rank as the fifth worst mass murder that has occurred in Germany. I think it's important to keep in mind that this is a clear-cut case of Islamophobic terrorism, and if a Muslim had walked into a German bar and killed 10 white people, every Western media outlet in the world would be calling it terrorism. And sadly, when 10 Muslims are gunned down by a white supremacist who left behind a 24-page racist manifesto saying that he wanted the complete annihilation of all Muslims, Africans, Asians, and that if there were a button that he could push, he would do so. The fact that the moniker terrorism is not being used shows the double standard that's being put into place these days.
Why, in your opinion, do you think the authorities in Germany, for example, haven't been able to deal with this issue? They keep talking about it at several and various levels, but we still keep seeing the same sort of incident happen on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think it's because of the rise of far-right political parties, not only in Germany, but throughout Europe. Obviously, we have the Alternative für Deutschland, AfD, which is the far-right political party in Germany, which gained in the last political election, and Angela Merkel's CDU, Christian Democrats, actually lost seats. You see in France, the Front National, the National Front with Marine Le Pen, in Holland with Geert Wilders. You're seeing a lot of rhetoric based on sort of anti-immigrant, anti-refugee, anti-Muslim sentiment based on the fact that there's been an influx of millions of Syrian and Iraqi refugees to these EU nations, and because of that, we're starting to see the rise of militant neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups, which needs to be called out by their respective governments.
Are they a force to be reckoned with? Because when you look across Europe, and you mentioned a few of them, whether they be in Germany, France, the Netherlands, we've also got various groups in Italy as well, they are independent groups as such, and have different thoughts about their dislike of foreigners, unlike much larger groups that get the public discourse internationally, talking groups like ISIS or Al-Qaeda, who seem to be more organised. I mean, there is that sort of non-homogenous sort of state of these smaller far-right groups that doesn't quite get the authorities dealing with them in an appropriate manner.
Well, Sohail, the one common unifying thread that we see in all of these far-right groups is something that's known as the Great Replacement theory. The Great Replacement theory is a debunked conspiracy theory that was coined by a French white supremacist, which basically said that European elites, aka Jewish people, are bringing in Muslims, immigrant Muslims from North Africa and many parts of the Muslim world to take over European societies. And if you look at both the rhetoric from the latest Hanau massacre in the Hookah lounges to the assassination of the CDU mayor Walter Lübcke last year, whose assassins were tied to a neo-Nazi group called Combat 18, to all these far-right groups, and even far-right politicians. The Great Replacement theory has been publicly stated by American President Donald Trump, former Italian Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini, and Bjorn Höcke of AfD, the right-wing political party in Germany. So there is a unifying thread that we see of Islamophobia, of this anti-immigrant Great Replacement conspiracy theory that I think that all united European Union governments need to take very seriously moving forward.
It will be interesting to see how they do deal with it. For the moment, Arsalan Iftikhar, thanks for joining us from Washington.
Thank you, Sohail. Appreciate it.